We're gonna kick it off. And okay, welcome everyone. Welcome. It's me and Lady A. We're gonna kick it today. We're gonna bring y'all a recap of the Washington game, the Falcon game. We're gonna go around the NFL a little bit. We're gonna do K9s for the week. Who we thought showed up, who deserved a dog bone for the week. We also got a little tea from Lady A. You know we always love a little tea. And then we also got leaking oil. So you know you already know about the leaking oil. We're gonna do our thing. We're gonna make sure everybody ready. So, as we say that, we're gonna go ahead and bring us in.
Yeah.
First Stream Podcast. Yeah. True Danny. Dre on the beat. You know. Yeah. What's your favorite squad? Tell me who you going with. First Stream Podcast, yeah, we keep it lit. We got the latest updates, we don't pump fake. Like, comment, share, we don't care, feel free to hate. We got great guests join us, you should chime in. Trudini on the intro for the time being. Lady A, representing Washington. Pick Washington, everything Washington. Aunt Mo coming out of Dallas, know the business. Said, them Georgia Bulldogs ain't quitting. Yeah, if you ain't watching sports, you ain't living. About to get my mattress Mac on, about to bet $1 million, bet $1 million. Let's talk about it. We all grown and cool, we can talk about it. Before we hit the news, we gon' talk about it. Oh, you wanna bet? Let's pop a bottle about it.
Yeah. Welcome everyone to the First Stream Podcast. It's Tuesday.
Yeah.
It was a very, very interesting week too, to say the least.
Yeah.
It really was. I mean, that's probably the best way I can put it. It was some very interesting games this weekend. It was, and then we always got some dog games in there somewhere. We always do. We always got some dog games in there somewhere. But hey, it is what it is. That's what we expect. But hey, we're gonna start out again. I'm Cedric, aka you Blink 71, and this is our HR, the lady who sent out the fines. The lady who brings sunshine to the show, Lady A.
Hello, Sid. Hello. But yes, you were being very kind when you said, "Oh, it was an interesting week too." It was chaos. Okay,
yes.
And I mean, it was difficult as far as picking these games.
Right.
I'm gonna put that out there. It was very difficult. However, it's nice for me to still be above 500. So
right. Anyway, we'll talk about that later. We're gonna wake up some people from the chat here. We got Dump Truck John.
Hey, Don.
Oh, look what you say. I'm first one in the bill.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, we see you. And then we got who? We got Clarence. What's on, bro? Welcome. Drew. And then of course we got Bruce Glass.
Hey,
he one of the main stage. What's up, Ron Graves? It was one of our co-workers to my let's go with the league and oil.
I mean,
you already know.
Said that's a favorite.
I got at least 3.
Oh,
I didn't get a chance to do the rest. I got at least 3.
Okay.
At least 3. So okay. we gonna get in that later right there. Then what do you say? 2-pick league and oil starting all. You being real petty, real petty. But at the same time, we have a guest today. We're gonna bring him in. We're gonna bring the guy who comes in and gives us his knowledge of what the Washington Commanders are doing. What do you think they're doing good? What do you think they're doing bad? But hey, Hall of Famer, Doc Walker.
Hey, Doc.
Oh, I didn't know we was talking about recess. I mean Hall of Fame and recess. Yeah.
Hey.
Hey, look.
That's what we're doing.
But I'll say this: that victories are very difficult to come by. You never take them for granted. I'd rather not play my best and win than play well and lose.
Right.
And so that's my Lady A. There was a gentleman that came up. I don't know if you had any of your people in your past tell you they ran into me and they said, you see you on the show with Lady A? I said, that's the only reason I'm on the show. And I said, the Bulldog, and I'm pulling for him to three-peat. But I said, oh, yeah. So I don't know if the guy, I saw him at a Franklin Park. They had a nice event downtown.
Okay.
Worked out really well. But everywhere I go, Bulldog, somebody come up to me and mention about Lady A. I said, boy, she got it going on, man.
Oh, that's so sweet, though.
Yeah, I ain't mad. No, it's Howell is no joke. Like first of all, he proved it to me in college.
Yes.
The only thing I don't understand is why he lasted until the 5th round. Now, I got an idea because the league discriminates on height.
Yeah.
And so, Drew, all the guys his size have all been discriminated upon. It's their version of being black. I don't care who you are, anybody, even the kid they took number 1, all they keep talking about is his size, his height. Yep. So that's the one thing. But in watching him last night for the Panthers, and all I'm thinking about is Howell and him. Well, how far apart is the guy that went number 1 and the guy that went 5? My guy 5 is built sturdier. My guy 5 has a gun. I don't know who's better. I take my guy. So I'm still. It doesn't matter, although it costs him millions. And I realize that it's an inexact science.
Right.
Half the coaches in the league, well, half the people in almost any industry are there for all the wrong reasons.
Right.
Friend of the family, hire, convenience. They're not qualified, but they know the right person. There's no way you can explain how many draft choices are complete no-hitters. People just miss because the people picking, really, there aren't that many experts. I mean, just think about it. The first-round quarterbacks, for the most part, what are they batting? 30% of it hitting it on people? It's not easy. I'm not saying I can do better. But what I am saying, for a multi-million-dollar or billion-dollar entity, not only can you not get the playing surface right because you're cheap, you're trying to save money, and you go to turf instead of all being grass fields, you got you $1 billion. A guy who was completely brain dead made a $3 billion profit. So it's a slush fund.
Yeah.
Do the right thing. Expand the roster. We need more players. We almost had to play – the 49ers had to play a game with a running back and quarterback.
Right.
In the NFC Championship game. That should never happen. They're filthy rich.
Right.
But they dumb as bricks in a lot of categories. They ain't got no idea. They can't fix things. And so I like our guy. I think we got a guy that if he'll continue to just keep getting better, and because of the enemy, I think anything's possible now. Because no one does it alone. I give Ron all the credit in the world for bringing in Bieniemy, because he knew what kind of guy Bieniemy was. He's worked with him before. But it kind of works great because that's no longer Ron's personality, although I believe much younger Ron was the same guy. Ron was a pit bull, okay? But everybody ages and mellows or whatever. Then the illness with the cancer, that guy is done, all right? Now you got a different guy who is showing his leadership skills by bringing in the right guy and allowing him to do his job. That's important. Ron's done that. Same thing with Jack. Same thing with Coach K. So Ron doesn't meddle with them. And I think you got to give him credit for it. Now, what Ron's got to do is get more W's, because that's the only thing missing. Right. Everything else, I ain't mad at Ron. But I can't accept losing as many games as the groups that he has lose. Maybe that changes this year.
Yeah, I think the year after Howell lost all his targets, they kind of questioned his leadership because he didn't have them many touchdowns, he didn't have many yards, but they also got, he can't be everywhere at all times. So I think that might have cost him a little bit of money because of that right there, even though we know the equality that they have in college football. You know, you can run into a monster one week. You know, you're like, man, how did y'all lose it in?
Right.
You know, it's everywhere.
Can we agree? Can we agree on the quote they on all that?
True.
I mean, let's stop acting like they are qualified in every area, because they, for the most part, are just friends of the family. You know, and half of them should be executed for incompetence because they've ruined millions and millions of dollars. I mean, seriously, on every level, they're at gross incompetence from the top owners all the way down through it. I mean, no different than giving Deshaun Watson's deal. That was the guy that did it. Steve Cohen did the same thing in baseball with the Mets. Spent all that money there. They're terrible. It's not money. It's expertise and great leadership. And it's not like it's overflowing everywhere. Turn on the news.
Right.
And there's a void of leadership everywhere.
Right.
And we're searching for the right people that can lead and really get the job done. It ain't easy. But all I'm saying right now, I feel better about where we are now than I have in years.
All right.
And we've done nothing so far.
Well, go ahead and give me a recap of what you liked during the last game with the Commanders.
We won the game. I like the fact that we ended up with more points than they did.
I'm with you.
And that's the bottom line, because neither team played great.
Right.
But we had more explosive plays on the ground. They had more in the air. They hit big plays. Deron Payne, our boys bullied people. They flat out steamrolled people. You know, if you look at Robinson running, we were the more physical team. Okay? They got some big plays on us. They got around our ends way too easily. They control some things that we can't allow to happen. But we made the violent plays. Our defensive ends, Chase was a contributor big time. There's no doubt about it. That's why last time I was on the show, I'm not worried about Chase. He's got to be healthy. He's got a neck injury. So I got to be careful with him. Once he allows somebody to coach him so he can learn and develop his arsenal. His arsenal is moves. You can run around average guys. Them big old, there's about 5 or 6 of them, Jolly Greens. They're just going to push you out the way. You can't get around them. But not everybody has one. The beauty of this league, there's about, I said it today on the air, there's a dozen freaks on defense.
Sure.
And they're aliens. And you saw one of them play last night. Well, you saw 2 of them last night in the Cleveland-Pittsburgh game. Mm-hmm. There was 2 of them.
Mm-hmm.
They're aliens. I mean, one makes a play, the other makes a play. You can barely block them. It takes 2 guys. They're disruptive. You can get them. I mean, that's what I mean by aliens. Not everybody has them. Well, it's crazy to say this, but we might have 4 of them on defense.
Oh.
May have, I said. Definitely got 2.
Yes.
But I think we could end up with 4. Now, and one of them wears 52. Because that burst that kid has some linebacker, LeVar had it, Sean Taylor had it. There's the only people I've seen over there, and I've seen it all. Okay? And the only 2 guys that have this freakish gear that nobody else has. You saw it with Sean. Now, you look over on our defense now, who has that? 52, 31. They do some things, you go, damn. You don't know how they got to that spot, but they get there with bad intentions. What Deron Payne did in that game, I've seen maybe 5 people do that in my lifetime. He had 3 of the most disruptive plays back to back to back. The guy in front of him might as well have been a 12-year-old. He humiliated a grown-ass 300-pound man, and there was nothing that guy could do to stop him.
Indeed.
That's freaky. That's freaky. Then you get Sweat.
Yeah.
Then you get John Allen. Then you get the Predator. So all 4 of them guys flashing at times doing things you rarely see. That's what I mean.
Right.
And the only people that get to play for that Lombardi Trophy, they have more freaks than you do, usually. That kid in Kansas City wears 15. See, he's an alien. He's doing things people can't even do in practice. He's an alien. The guy down in Miami that they got rid of. Let me tell you how badass they are. I'd have never gotten rid of that kid at wide receiver. They did, and won a Super Bowl after it. Did you see him when they went out to play the Chargers?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Alien. I mean, certain people, and our guys are nice. De'Ami Brown, how'd you like that?
Exactly.
That's how loaded we are.
And and Pick ain't here to talk about it.
De'Ami Brown rolled up in that joint. That's why I'm scary. It's scary where I think we could go, because Scary's back. He wasn't scary week 1. He was hurt. Same thing with Jordan.
Yeah.
What we got to do, and man, I'm looking at this going, wow. How you gonna cover us?
Right.
Everybody got one. Everybody got a shutdown corner. Everybody's got some people, but do they have a freak? And do those freaks perform when the lights get bright? And so, and I've said this a million times, but I'll say it in case somebody young or somebody like Big Tony not smoking weed, and they can actually remember what I'm saying.
Oh my goodness.
The LeVar Arringtons. Just think about the freaks. Trent Williams.
Yeah.
Freak.
Yeah, that's
freak.
true.
He played with a fractured hand. He played an entire game. I'm not even gonna mention the man he controlled with one hand. I mean, it's amazing. Some of the guys that have come through. Sheriff has some freaky moments. Now I know he takes a lot of rap, but up until watching this kid now, not yet. RG3 had a nice role, but you got to be coachable. I love Bobby, but Bobby want to coach the coach. That don't work. That's why he's in the broadcast booth right now.
There you go.
One, because of talent. He got enough talent. He'd be playing right now.
Speak on that.
But they got in his head and started making him think he was in charge. You was broke. You ain't in charge of no pro team.
Right.
But he had unbelievable talent. But if you can't read coverages and you don't pick up on that, quote, quarterback stuff, you'll just be a runner.
Right.
And he had the IQ. He had everything. But I'm not certain he allowed anybody to coach him.
No.
Right.
You know, I'm not certain Coach Chase allows anybody to coach him. Certain guys, they may be more difficult to get to. I wouldn't want any of them on my team personally, because I would have no patience for them at all. Because I don't have to. Because I'm looking for that predatorial freak. And if you ain't that guy, I just go next. That's what I'm looking for. Because the league, everybody in the league is good. Yeah. Everybody can do something right, but look at the playoffs. Who's that? That kid in Dallas, 11. Who did he remind you of?
Who did he remind you of?
We ain't never had one of those, so you guys know wrong person.
No, not us. I said, who does he remind you of?
we ain't never had one.
Talking about the Falcons, they never had it.
No. Well, Tommy Nobis, back in the day.
Okay.
Yeah, no, Nobis, he was a predator.
Oh, that was way.
Everybody's kind of had somebody.
Yeah.
This boy. And I'm not taking anything away from the rest of their players. They got a kid that rushes from down and is nice too. But I'm not talking about nice. Everybody in pro ball is nice.
Right.
I'm talking about aliens.
Mm-hmm.
And you look at the 49ers. Why are they so good? They got Samuel, alien. They got the boy in the backfield, but alien. The quarterback, he could be, he's Mr. Relevant. So what? They don't need nobody else.
Yeah.
They got Trent Williams. They got Ibayu. Look at all the dogs they have. They tight end.
Yeah.
Aliens.
So,
and the play caller is just borderline genius. He just be toying with people. His only problem is the Super Bowl.
You got that right.
That's it.
You got that right. Go ahead, Lady A. You got me fired up. Talking about the Super Bowl.
Right. But no, Doc, I have a question. Because really as a fan, there are moments where you're looking at the game from one set of eyes, and then you look at the game from another set of eyes. It's a pleasure when they kind of come together. Speaking of coming together, I feel like the team is starting to show themselves, show their personality, show the type of team that they're going to be this season. Would you agree? And can you point out some things that are starting to show the type of team they want to be?
It's the Bieniemy effect. I've been saying it all day. Everybody else was here. The only person that's new to this deal is Bieniemy.
Right.
He is the straw that turns the drink. He's doing what he was supposed to do. And give Ron all the credit in the world. A weak man would not have desired an alpha. See, so Ron he's doing what a great leader doesn't necessarily have to be a field general. But somebody's got to organize the whole thing. Somebody's got to make sure that the lights are on, that the trainers and everything. I wouldn't want that. That's a lot of responsibility. But when you go around and get a dog and you put that dog in charge of a unit, they end up calling those special forces. See, the military, I respect the hell out of it. But there's a branch inside the military that's cold-blooded.
Right.
They call it recon. They call Rangers. They call them SEALs. They call them something different. They ain't like the rest of people. Everybody in there that goes in, I love you because you're willing to die for some stuff you can't even control. And I admire that. But then there's a force within you that is alien-like. They swim in 2 miles. They jumping out of planes. I mean, there's some cats that don't need to sleep. See, that's what I'm talking about. They call freaks.
Yeah.
And every company, every entity, everybody has them. And usually the team that has most of them wins. Chiefs.
Right.
They got that boy 95. They got 87. They got 15. They gave away freaks and still got the job done. And then Andy, the biggest freak they have is their coach. Because that dude's sitting over there, man, that's like a mad scientist over there. So that's what I love, seeing how organizations, how you put it all together. Right. And when you put it all, and it's part like Georgia, as much as we kid, and I had Kedrick on this week, I'm pulling for three. Nobody does it to three-peat. Even if you have the best players, they got to be healthy. They got to be eligible.
Oh,
they got to have. They got to be not sick. They got to be so. Life presents its own obstacle course, and you got to manage all that. And to get to the end of this, and I have no idea if September has shown us anything, is that we don't know much until we see it, because I've seen some superpowers that got punched in the face that don't usually ever get punched in the face in September.
Yes.
Which is good for college football all the way around.
Yes. Yes. Because I'm gonna tell you that not to get off the subject, but that injury list we got in Georgia, it's about 25 deep.
Yeah,
so
but again,
we got a straight freshman playing right now.
Well, you had 15 more players than anybody else in the country anyway. So it just breaks it back down to being even. No, because the top dog has more people. Yeah. You in Alabama get no sympathy from me. I don't give a damn what I do. Don't try to talk your way into, oh, man, we had a man. Don't nobody give a damn about you. Y'all are upset. You got 2 teams of 4 and 5 stars.
Right.
Y'all can't cry wolf.
Not at all.
I'll be telling, I don't want to hear that from Michigan, Ohio State. Y'all, don't say a word. Because
I watched the game. I watched the game, and I watched when the team fell down 14-0. Now I was like, okay. I said, okay, they got to get these guys to calm down, because that's what it looked like at first. It looked like nerves.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, being was like, okay, I'm gonna show y'all something. We ran it to the left. Oh, guess who got 8 yards? Okay, guess what? We're gonna run it again. We're gonna run it again.
Keep on going.
Thing, play action pass. Here's McLaurin across the middle. Bam. Hit him right on the run. And then you can see it right there. You can see it. You can see it building. Boom, boom, boom.
Same thing happened. Alabama. They figured it out. All of a sudden, problem this happens to them happens to you guys every 3 or 4 years.
Right.
When you graduate seniors, first round picks, you win a national championship or get to the national championship, and everybody else is going, okay, thank God, I'm done having to deal with them. Now the puppies come in, and they're promising, but they're babies.
Right.
And they get in there and them light, and the guy they playing against got his ass kicked the year before by the guy from Georgia just left. Yep. So he mad, and now he glad to see you. You got that same uniform on, but you ain't that dude that just left. So that just happens. That's why I love college, because it's got to filter in due to age. Whereas the NFL filters in, it's different because guys play much longer. So I got 6 and 7 year vets that have played the game a lot. I mean, NIL has been in Georgia for the last 15 years.
Right.
In Alabama, SEC, and all that. So the rest of the country now is kind of figuring out how this thing works.
Now they want to share.
Yeah, they've been doing this. Yeah, they've been doing
but that's one thing. That's one thing you can't take from SEC. No matter who win the championship, they've been sharing the profits for years.
Right.
Top to bottom. It's not I'm getting all this money up here because we're at the top. No.
Everybody does that.
Everybody.
They have to.
Yeah.
One
so
of the things
if you want to lower echelon teams in the SEC and your facilities are bad, that's on y'all. You can't say you don't have the money.
Oh yeah.
Because you're getting the money.
No, and you spend it. And you spend it on football.
Right.
And volleyball and softball.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, you don't keep the lion's share. But you also have the most donors. You got the most people more invested. I am envious of how the SEC travels for every sport. The SEC is a 4-year college experience that involves collegiate athletics. And I think it probably has the most camaraderie. It's the most like a frat.
Right.
That I've seen. And some of that, you can see how to be envious of that. But also we had so much fun. And I tell kids all the time, it's supposed to be the most fun you ever have in your life during that time, And if you have anybody good within your school that wins a national championship, man, that's rare. Don't take it for granted and enjoy it. Right. He was winning them every year. But when you're on campus, you just don't realize the impact of having something that is that dynamic. We won a Rose Bowl, and it's hard to get there. It's hard to do all this stuff. You just don't realize it until you look back and see how many people don't go.
Right.
How many people didn't do it. And so, and they just wanted to be clean. And we joke, but we got to get wraps on it because you got too many young people with high performance vehicles. My boy Deion's kids driving a Maybach. I mean, you can't be 18 and 19 years old driving Ferrari, but I guess you can now.
That's
but you got to manage it. I just hope we have enough counselors.
Exactly.
I hope we have enough counselors, parents.
Right.
We just got to do something that has more adult supervision at these colleges.
Right.
Just because these kids are talented, their brains are still 18 years old. Right. And I would just like to see more homeroom or parental or psychologists or adults. They're not pros.
No.
And we shouldn't treat them that way, in my opinion.
So, Doc, let me ask you this. I know that when Deion was over at Jackson State, he would have these classes that, financial planning, how to conduct yourself and all that. Do you know if he has brought that over to Colorado?
Good question.
Because that's a good program.
It's not just African-American kids need that.
Right.
But we need it more. So because it's been discussed in some cases less in your household than the quote average American.
Right.
So you're just catching up. It should be a base standard. Whoever the rocket scientist was back in the 70s, it took home ec away from us.
Yeah.
I mean, and they took shop away from us.
Yeah.
True.
I was in that. It's been 50 years ago since I graduated from high school. That was a group where you had shop, wood. Why aren't we training people and giving them a head start and things that they can actually get employment doing?
Right.
Shop, woodwork, automotive, home ec, cooking. We had all that is practical, and it should be econ. Not that you're trying to go out and be a statistician, but just basically the fundamentals of banking,
Right.
understanding savings, understanding T-bills, understanding we ought to be general education and basics of finance if you hope to be a millionaire or would like to make a lot of money.
Right.
Dion will get them prepared. There's going to be such a shakeup. He lost his Hunter, his best player, for 4 weeks.
Right.
If they can be successful, split the Oregon USC game, you can't lose both of them. If he wins one of those two, it's over because people are already decommitting just to take the trip. So now these are all 1, 2, and 1 and 2 stars, 5 and 6 stars, excuse me, 4 and 5 stars. So he's going to have a haul next year. He's got 10 biggins on campus right now that weren't approved. 10 linemen that didn't get passed. It's going to be a slaughterhouse there next year. In the spring, he started training, and people are going to come over if he continues. And there's no scandal. And scandal doesn't follow him. He don't do that. He's probably the cleanest.
Find a quarterback too.
Yeah. And
I think Shadur is a senior, so you're going to have to find a quarterback as well.
Yeah, he'll be eligible to go out. But, again, a quarterback will find him with all this hype. Game day, pulling up, telling other school, I'm sorry, we're not going to be able to make it. We're going to Colorado. I've heard more about Colorado. Colorado. Now, he's had an impact. And the fact that he's in that Affleck commercial with Saban, that's what told me. When I first saw that, I said, this dude different. I mean, he played here. And he bought property, and my wife worked with him, and he's a gentleman. My son was a baby. I mean, Dion, that ain't fake. The beauty of him is authentic. That's who he is. He ain't never not been that guy. He been prime time. He been doing all his life. He's been doing it. It didn't mean he would be able to transfer it over. That's where his gift is. Right. He's actually a coach and an administrator.
Right.
Because he cut his teeth at the youth league. A lot of these guys he signed, he had them in Pee Wee ball.
Right.
Right.
So when you're doing that youth football and Pop Warner, he developed his strategy, and he's not a jerk because he can acquire great people to work with him. He had a former head coach. He had people leaving head coaching job to go work with him. If you do your due diligence and look at his staff, they're fantastic.
Right.
And a lot of those people on his staff, no one else would hire them. Didn't mean they're not qualified. It's just not an even level playing field when it comes to who hires whom. So, no, I'm a big Dion guy with his staff. And the fact that everybody in there, I guarantee you, won't be cutting class. I guarantee you the study halls.
Right.
See, he ain't going to have no foolishness. Ain't going to be no parties and all. No. He looks like he'd be a party animal, but he's not.
Right.
That's his gift. Dion looks like a rapper and does all that, but that ain't who he is. I really believe this dude is a man of Christ. And he is somebody that I would feel comfortable giving him my son and saying, go play for Coach Prime. Because I think he'd be treated like he treats his boys. And that's all any of us want as parents. Treat mine like you treat yours.
Right.
And I'm good with that. Yeah.
Right.
And not every coach I ever played for could say that.
Okay. For sure. Then we're gonna do a quick recap of the Falcons Green Bay game right quick. I told Pick I would talk about this for a hot minute. Yes, sir. Talk to me.
The kid named Toothpick. Where the hell is he? No, it's okay. It's okay. But this heavy lifting thing, I'm going to hold it, Slim. So I assume now that he's not going to be on this edition, right?
Not today. No, sir.
Okay, good. That's good. That give me more time to be with you and Lady A. That's fine.
Oh, okay.
Now, who else is coming on the show today? I need to know the lineup.
Oh,
okay.
I see
this has turned into more than a segment.
Okay.
So let me know what's going on. Okay.
Well, I mean, we really don't. You are our guest for today.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And we going to talk about? We talked a little bit about the Commanders. We're going to go.
All right, let's do it.
We need to go into that. We're going to talk about the Falcons. Say's going to recap that.
Yeah, I'm glad to see you. When you got nobody wants a running back. I want yours.
Man.
That bad man.
Yeah,
I saw him in Texas. Let me tell you what. I'm happy for it because in my generation, that was the star of every team. The running back was what the quarterbacks get now.
Right.
We've seen the Buffalo has now the quarter horse is it's not no longer the Buffalo. It's now a whomever. But I lived through the back. It was the back. The Heat was OJ. It's James Brown. Jim Brown. It's Barry Sanders. Every guy was a back. The back was the guy.
Yeah.
Well, they've altered that. And maybe the game will be better as a result of it. I don't know. All I know is you could never have told me this. It took them 40 years, 50 years, but they did it.
Yeah.
They did it. And to actually be a part of that cycle, you would have never convinced me of it, but they did it.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
and we know why they did it. Yeah, I get it.
We do.
Yeah. I mean, we have a interesting dynamic, with the offensive side of the ball. Cordell Patterson didn't play. He was inactive again with this game. The problem with Atlanta is offensive line and play calling,
and that's strange because that's usually a strength,
right? And my thing is, if you have a problem with one side of the field, I'm just saying, play calling wise.
Happened because the last time did somebody get hurt?
No. Nobody got hurt. What I'm saying is, once a team finds out you have a weak spot, right?
Yeah.
The Panthers found out we had a weak spot on the right side. Actually, it was 2 players. And you know what they did? They put like 5 people on that side.
Yep.
And instead of him adjusting,
defensively.
Instead of him adjusting, it took him a while to adjust. Look, this is what they're doing. You cannot continue to pass the ball, and they're bringing 8 people from the right side.
Now, you could see that from the couch, but they couldn't see that from the box.
There you go, right there.
And that's my thing.
NFL.
Once he figured it out, he said, you know what? We need to try to start running the ball. Yeah. Finally, you start running the ball. My thing, and then he got pretty. You had 4 tries from the 3-yard line. You ran the ball 1 time.
Mm-hmm.
1 time.
Wow.
You had one running back that was over 1,000 yards last year.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't give him a shot. You brought the new guy in, and then you try something pretty. It was all tackle, but it was pretty. And then you did 2 play action passes. What? You at the 3-yard line. Let's get this touchdown to keep it moving. But that's what he does. What I will say is that defense, bend but don't break, they bailed the Falcons out this week.
Yeah.
They showed up in the 3rd and the 4th quarter. They applied the pressure. They made the young man get rid of that ball. They did what they were supposed to do. And then once he realized, hey, the defense is going to show up, but they're going to help us out, then he started running the ball. Run the ball. He go a pass, run the ball. This he should have known this even from preseason because he didn't let them play. He figured that the 2 days of practicing against another team was enough. They played 1 series in the preseason. So if you knew that was happening during those 2 days or the dual practices, why are we still coming into week 2 with the same problem?
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, better yet, you cut one of the guys, put him on the street, and then brought him back. What?
Yeah, that was.
And made him a starter.
Sound like you got some managerial issues.
But like you said, We got a dub.
Yeah, but it was close though. Yeah,
it was
close.
ugly, but it was dub.
Yeah, it was a W.
We're one of 8 teams that are still undefeated in the league right now. One of 8 teams. So I really can't complain that much. But hopefully down the line they can clean it up. Because when Cordell Patterson comes back, then it's really pick your poison at that point. Patterson, Bijan, Pitts, Drake, Hollins, offensively. If you can find us a piece on this offensive line that can help us out somewhere, find him, apply him, so we can do what we need to do.
Right.
Well, he may not exist, so you may have to scheme your way through. Because that animal that you're looking for is an endangered species.
Yeah.
That's the problem. He's got to be 6'6", 6'7", 320, 330, good feet, strong hands, and it's just not. See, what you're finding out, what I'm discovering, is that there's only a half a dozen of these freaks around every position. And so Dallas, which does a remarkable job of acquiring people and not having to consider them a mistake early. They get a guy he can usually play. And by getting Parsons and I just can't tell you, at the 12th pick, how do you get an absolute terror in the 12th pick? That means there are 11 other people kicking themselves in the behind every night as he beats you. And you could, and that's not even who they wanted. They wanted, if I'm not mistaken, Surtain, the cornerback that went to Denver.
Yep.
Yeah.
He just happened to be, but I think it's Will, their player guy, name escapes me. He's brilliant. They do this all the time. I mean, what's the last bus they've had early on? I mean, they have them. Everybody has them. They usually get you can play, and you play immediately. And they're really competent. If the deal with Fred Flintstone works as coordinator, then they're going to be hard to beat because they have so much talent. And, they're a weapon in the return game. That's one thing I hate about us. We're no longer a threat in the return game. Maybe Gibby on the kickoff returns. But when you have to go through Mike Nelms and Brian Mitchell, you get used to that. You get used to always having 40-yard advantage and flipping fields and doing all these things. And we have these two freaks that ran back kicks and punts, and it gives you an advantage. And to lose that, now we get very few to no hidden yardage returns. Now we're having a problem snapping a ball back. And these are the little cracks in the armor that I don't care who you got on your team, you'll never be as good as you could have been if you don't fix those. Those are problems. Now, they're not big problems, but I want it on record that we're at least discussing that.
Right.
You got to do better. You got to do better.
Okay. If you got something, lady?
Yeah.
Oh,
well, no, and not in reference to that. You got it said. I know you've been screaming and fussing at them all season, preseason, last season, and
I should have been.
He should.
I mean, I'm like any other fan. I want to win.
Right, there you go.
Yeah, you just want to win. Yeah,
I want to win.
If they were winning, I wouldn't say a word.
There you go.
Nothing at all. Like, hey.
And say
I'd be talking about the uniform.
Team.
I'd be like everybody else. The uniform, the name, the copy, and all that other stuff. I don't give a damn about none of that. All I need to know is, did we win?
Right.
If we win, everything else will fix itself.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. And said you did some. You said some of the stuff that I said about my team. So I'm with you right there.
Actually,
last season we were
y'all not in league in order this week, so y'all say.
You're so kind. You're so kind. We're not leaking oil this week.
No. Y'all not in league in order this week. Y'all in league in order this week.
Okay.
But, hey, Doc, one of the things that Two-Pick like to do, he said, Doc's K9. Tell me somebody that you think was outstanding enough to get a dog bone.
Oh, well, I announced today on the with Chris Russell every Tuesday. I throw that out, and it went to Deron Payne.
Okay.
House of Pain was my canine of the week.
All right.
And here's the beauty about this year's team. Usually for us, it would have only been one guy.
Right.
Here's when you know you're not very good. It's almost the same guy or same 2 or 3 people every week. This was, I could have gone Howell easily. He threw 3 dimes in one game that the likes of I haven't seen in a long time. And the only reason I didn't go, wow, it's him, is because that ain't really nothing to him. I'm just so used to not seeing it, I didn't want to overreact. To him, that's normal. He stuck 3. It ain't like he had one big throw. 3.
Right.
He stuck in the pocket like James Harris used to say, stay in the ball that go over your shoulder right into your pocket or your suit jacket. There aren't a lot of people that could do that. If that were baseball, he's hitting the corner throwing 100 miles an hour.
Yep.
The balls, I went, oh my goodness. And it wasn't nothing. And it was like, yeah, he's capable of doing that.
Right.
What Deron Payne did, is to take on a double team or to take a grown man, 330 pounds, and treat him like you babysitting him, like he's a toddler. It blows me away. Now, Aaron Donald did similar things, but more with quickness and power.
Right.
This dude is just flat out brute strength. There ain't nothing. The man's technique might have been fine. When the coach did it on film, first of all, he ain't gonna show it to the team because that's absolute humiliation. He just literally destroyed a human being.
Yep.
3 times in a row. It was just him, Payne, Allen, the Predator, Flash, and Sweat, who was last week's Canine of the Week.
Mine too.
Sweat is always there.
Yep.
He could have easily. So 52 had the biggest hit play of the game. And eventually he's going to be a guy that's just so rich because people sleeping on him now.
Yeah.
He's got that quick twitch like 11 for Dallas has. But they built a scheme around him.
Right.
We slow to the party on this dude. First, we take him as an outside. Then we put him in the middle.
Yep.
Well, that failed. Why didn't you go get you a middle linebacker if you wanted a middle linebacker? He's not been able to do what Parsons is able to do. Let him just run at people and watch what happens. They still trying to make him do arithmetic, do math equations. They'll get it. Jack will figure it out. He's already figuring it out.
Yeah, and so many people talked about Jamin.
Jamin, he's a beast.
Yeah, they talked about
because he's got that twitch. He got that quick twitch. How Allen Iverson could get up the floor. John Wall had that. Not everybody has it.
Right.
Everybody's got. They bend the knee. They got a good throw. Nah. This dude, he got a speed nobody else on the field has.
Right.
And it's like he hits a morph. He morphs himself places nobody else can do. Now, Chase got a little of that too. And I'm just telling you, not everybody has this stuff. We finally have people like that. And that's where my excitement comes. If they'll just find a way now to put them in a position so we can see it more often.
Yeah.
Lady A, do you have any?
Well, first of all, I completely agree. And it seems like week 1, we agreed as well. I'm in the game. I'm at the game and I'm texting them. I was like, Sweat is the guy. He is my player of the week. And then you go with Payne. Payne he was the man. I give it to both of them. They did everything they were supposed to do and some.
Lady A, when you get tired dealing with Bulldog, dealing with Toothpick, and going through all this stuff, we'll talk.
Oh, okay.
Doc, you poaching?
Just keep doing what you're doing.
You poaching?
Yo, look. Game sees game. You know what I mean? It's like game on. You see me and Lady A, we'll be the show. Our show will be called Game On.
Game On.
And we're just
They came up with the name. Look at that, Doc. Game on.
Game on.
Okay, we're gonna be quiet.
Because just let them keep
because they're gonna try to steal our thunder.
That's okay. I'll come up with something else. Don't worry about
it. There you
go. Well. Anyway, mine would go to. Actually, I have two. One,
okay.
I would give it to Bijan Robinson. 19 carries, 124 yards. He should have had more. Don't ask me what the offensive coordinator / head coach was thinking, but hey, it is what it is. But another one, out of the blue, I would say DeAndre Swift. I don't think they expect 5 yards out of DeAndre Swift. I really don't.
Right. No, I ain't mad at you. I ain't mad at you at all. Yeah.
Ain't nobody asked Pitt to come on.
The man, the myth, Zile Jean.
Well, hey, Lady A, he might as well get as much of you while he can.
Hey, look at you.
That's why
he came on.
Yeah. He better get as much as he can. Yeah, because
Doc, Doc, I'm always
Lady A,
listening.
you ain't gotta deal with the fact that hosts don't show up. You ain't gotta deal with all that. See, you done paid your dues, and it paid off. And
I paid my dues.
Yeah.
He
paid your dues.
He does me so wrong.
That's okay. That's okay. We're gonna work all that out. You know what I mean? And you're gonna end up considering him a blessing to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Because he provided the platform so you could be discovered. Yeah.
There you go.
Listen. Hey. I tell you, my K9 is 14. My K9 is 14. He stood in.
Yeah.
Stood in. As folks was just coming at him left and right and delivered the ball. He
and you're not wrong for doing that, because I would have done that too when I was your age. You see, and what I'm saying, young. I tried to tell Bulldog. I said I didn't give it to him because it wasn't that big a thing to him.
Right.
See, that's what he's
built for this. He built for this, right?
He's built for that, yeah. He's capable of doing that every week. Mm-hmm. That'd be like giving Roger Clemens credit for throwing 101. That's what he does.
Mm-hmm.
That's why, because I was thinking, oh man, you see Sam could do it every week.
Indeed.
Now, what Deron Payne did, it defies nature. It's not supposed to happen.
He's that
big
dude.
On big and power and speed.
He's that dude.
It's and all of them can do that and flash it. He didn't do something that John Allen has done it too. But on that particular day, and John was swallowing doubles.
Yes.
John was dump trucking people too. See, the thing about John's always my unsung hero. Because if he's taking on two, that means he's the guy they scared of. Because the coordinator putting up a plan, he said, we got to make sure this guy don't disrupt the play.
Right.
Now, John, and here's what they have going for him. Hey, man, whoever gets double, the other guy eats.
Yeah, and I like that about them.
It's like the Bulldogs. Georgia, for the past 5-6 years, it don't matter who, because they got two of them. The key is you got to have two of them. And I'll be honest with you. When Jack Del Rio substitutes now, it ain't a hell of a lot of drop-off.
Nope.
And that's with the second-round pick. We got a baby Bama who's in recovery.
Yeah.
Don't forget, they got another bull in the wings just healing.
Right.
Number two. I'm just telling you, it could get freaky.
It can get real freaky.
Stay the course. If they keep grinding and get better, because I'm seeing things now that I haven't seen in a while. And it's because of the talent and the design. Yeah, I'm almost there.
Yeah.
Well, Doc, I got to ask you one question before I get out of here, because I still got to finish a bit of business here.
Not before you get out, before we get out of here.
You cannot take Lady A with you. She's under contract for at least 3 more years.
3 years.
We ain't talking about Robert. That's okay. I'll wait. Ain't no problem. Ain't no problem. Yeah. She'll be just better. No problem.
Hey, unless she Mel Tucker her way out of here. She's
Whoa.
That's okay.
Whoa.
What did he say?
Well, I know he didn't say that.
Fine. I'm sending you the.
Please find him, Lady
email.
A. I know he didn't say what I think he said.
Whoa.
That's
probably
unbelievable.
that's probably a double fine for real.
Yeah, it's a
But
triple.
I mean, there are things that you cannot
Both
do.
of us are offended by it. I want you to know that.
Thank you, Doc.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, Doc. Lady A is a public figure, and there are things that she can't do that's in her contract. Just the same thing that me and Sid can't do stuff like that. So, by the way, what I wanted to say was my what you say last week. You said Dog Biscuit. Who earned a Dog Biscuit? 31. Cam Curl.
Yes.
Quiet
Animal.
9 tackles,
Another
but
freak.
everywhere, all over the field, Doc. Everywhere.
He's another alien. He's another alien.
Right. Yes.
He's another alien.
Yes.
I'm telling you, man. It's this team. We got to handle our work this week, but it is so comforting to finally see what the potential is. We're not just talking trash. We're literally looking at a class of people that are fitting together now.
Mm-hmm.
And Bieniemy was that carry. He was that. He lit it. First of all, he had to put the fluid around it because they needed to be lit. He lit them up and loved them at the same time. See, those that haters in the inside the organization try to make him sound like he's cruel. He loves them more than anybody they have. Because real love corrects you. See, he ain't afraid to correct you so that you can reap the benefits of success. A coward tells you, hey, way to go, stud, and he didn't even watch it. See, this man, I tell you what, and he wouldn't be here without Ron. So that's why I give Ron all the credit in the world. Ron could have blocked that. He didn't. He embraces it.
Is there a way that you could see Ron getting elevated to a front office? I mean, because Eric literally right now, with what he's done in just 2 games, because this team starts slow all the time. With what he's done in 2 games, is there a way that you could see him becoming the head coach and Ron getting elevated to the front office?
No. Well, you may have something. I never allow my brain to play fantasy in the middle of a real season.
Facts.
Because it's too dangerous.
You're right.
It'll make you. You have a more complex, younger brain. My brain can't handle that. See, so I got to stay focused on one thing, one task, and that is how the hell do I win this week, and how do I beat Buffalo?
Ooh.
And that is it. My expectations don't go beyond a week.
If they beat
We're
Buffalo,
not good enough anyway.
If they beat Buffalo, I may wind up in DC on Monday.
If they beat, they should.
When they beat Buffalo, when they beat Buffalo.
Hold on, we've beat Buffalo many times before historically.
Yeah. Hey, I gotta run.
Yes, if we beat Buffalo, we need.
How do you have a button to block him? Can y'all block him where you at?
That's Thursday show. He's going too early.
Just bouncing, just breaking in here, whatever.
Right.
Y'all need to set up. Yeah. I thought y'all were equals. Everybody got an equal share, right? He just barging in.
That's how he gets to barge in.
Well, I don't know. See, I don't know who negotiated y'all's rights. I ain't never seen nothing like that. Who do you think he is? Kevin Sheehan? Yeah, you think he Kevin Sheehan?
And then gonna say if we beat Buffalo. What he mean?
Yeah, if.
This is Buffalo.
Yeah. I'm as shocked when I lose. I'm never prepared to lose. If win. I never even envision us losing.
Yes.
I mean, you got to get that out your mind. You can't even allow your mind to even think about that. I don't ever consider losing. Not with this crew. Now that what I've seen, now I'm going to get real cocky if they just stay the course. Now, Sadiq Charles. Also, I can't do a show without mentioning Sadiq Charles and Cosme and our middle. There's our hub. Now, the guys on the edges, they're going to take some heat because you're going against elite athletes and speed rushers.
Mm-hmm.
And we got caught a couple times. And you know what? Look how many times we catch other people. So I know everybody wants to jump on our tackles because it's a visual. You can see that somebody can go run around them. All that will change as our running game picks up. See, right now we're throwing people up to loosen up, and then we're hitting creases. Eventually, you'll see, and Eric, what he's doing with the screen game, he neutralized it with the screen game. You're going to see the draw. So you got to give him time. Plus, he's putting film out. You know, all this is everything they do has purpose. And so that when people play us, they're trying to get our tendencies. So he's doing some things. And I hear people, hell, I'm in talk radio. I think he's throwing too much. Look, he's got to do certain things. He's just messing with you as you figure out how to mess with him. Indeed. It's a strategy. But when we got athletes, I know you saw 24 Gibson's run. Oh my God. He had an O.J. Simpson moment in the game. Boy, it was flying. So we're showing you this, and I'm just really high on the talent. There was a time we just weren't that athletic. Now we really are, and it fares well now. And we'll get better up front. We have to, and if we don't, then we'll leave the tight end in more.
Right.
There's ways to do it, but you don't want to do that now. You can do it if you have to do it, because I'm gonna tell you what, Philadelphia. Have you seen them? Their front. Let me tell you, in your own division, aren't the Giants, Cowboys, and Eagles defensive lines? You got them twice. So everything we do has got to be getting ready for that. Because that ain't going to be no joke. So if you ain't handling this stuff coming up now, you got no chance. Then. Exactly. Because them units, they ain't playing. They ain't playing.
He know
Yeah. I'm gonna write a letter. I'm gonna complain to the commissioner. Yeah. Some illegal something happened between Georgia and Philadelphia. I'm gonna find it some kind of way. Ain't no way in the hell
in the larger box.
Yeah. We got Alabama.
Draft night. I said to them, Philly got the cheat code. What said? They got everybody. They have the entire Georgia, 2021 championship line, the whole line. Just take them all.
I know. And I really am just kidding because we went to Tuscaloosa. And I don't know what the deal was, but I mean, we got so many members of the Crimson Tide and Mississippi State and Kentucky. Really, let's call it for what it is. SEC. And it's a training grounds where guys do see a little higher level of physicality and athleticism.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's a hell of a night. Yeah, I tell you what, that's why I love the Mississippi State players. Notice how many players they have in the league, but they don't win anything. Yeah. There's a bulldog on every roster.
Indeed.
They have players. But I like it because that's what I said. What about Forbes? I ain't worried about him at all. You know who he had to check? Every week, he had a dog to deal with, or two, every stinking week.
Indeed.
He had no days off.
Well, all right.
This to him might have been a break. Yeah, compared to what he had to deal with. So, and they run the ball so well in the SEC. And so those guys are usually pretty good tacklers. And, I mean, it's been I like the young man we have from Kentucky, running back. I'm really high on him. And I'm Patterson. I'm really happy he signed with L.A. because I really wanted him on the team.
Yeah.
But I can look at Rodriguez and go, oh, my goodness, look out.
Mm-hmm.
Look out.
Yeah.
I like all the guys. I call them one cut, no BS backs. One cut, no BS backs. They coming downhill.
Indeed.
And with bad intentions. Robinson had some of that. He got that. And all you need is you got to have more than one. So I'm confident. And if you saw 24 on that burst, and that's why that screen game, isolation, the short passing game, which is a Bieniemy, and it's a chief thing. It's just with a mobile quarterback. As much as I like Jacoby, he couldn't do what this kid has done because it's an athletic difference. But I trust Brissett a lot. He has more experience. He might even be better right now.
Yeah.
But in the end, the mobility will and the youth and the cannon will win.
Right.
That's three things you just can't. You can't. It's like boxing. A guy that punches hard and is not a stationary target. So he got a little bob and weave in him, and he hit like Mike Tyson. Got a hard deal to deal with. That's just hard to deal with. This boy is hard. If we ever did a show, we started just rating arm strength amongst the league, this boy would be in every discussion.
Yeah.
If they had like the old days used to have the they ran the 40 and they called it it was a competition of athletic. They jumped, they ran, they called it skills. It was some kind of skills thing.
Yeah.
To compete in it.
Yeah.
He's just he ain't a country bumpkin with a big arm.
You talking about when they would like race each other and all that stuff? Because
they had all kind of
Darryl Green used to run all that.
Athlete. Yeah, but this kid's an athlete.
Yeah,
a lot of guys just have a bookage. I had to play with a kid at UCLA. He had a cannon, but he couldn't scramble. He was a big old stud that threw the ball through brick wall.
Okay,
this dude had that rifleman thing, but he got feet.
Yeah,
right.
Feet. Yeah,
well, we're gonna progress on to this last couple of subjects we got here, so we ain't gonna hang on for you too much longer there. But we're gonna bring in Lady A. She got some hot tea for us today. So come on, Lady A, bring us what you got.
So let's really quick. I got 3 different points to kind of talk about. First of all, Doc, you're normally not here with us for these portions of the show. My team,
and I won't be either. Down the road. Keep going.
But this portion, I usually talk about certain things that happen off the field that could affect certain things on the field. So of course, and then also just the community as a whole. So not just NFL. Sometimes I have to touch on other sports as well.
Maybe do you?
Well,
matter of fact, if y'all want me to leave, I don't have a problem with that.
You are welcome to stay. Because we almost done.
We almost done.
Okay, so see, y'all getting in my smoke time now. See, I'm supposed to be smoking and sipping. Y'all, I was giving bad information. I said join you for a segment. I didn't know that I had to do.
Doc, if you
I'm with you. Let's go.
Okay.
Okay. So, I can smoke while we do it.
So just to something that is very interesting to me. You guys know we've talked about it. The running backs have been upset about how their position is viewed right now. They don't feel valued. So crazy stuff is going on right now, and a lot of people don't even realize it. The NFL is literally accusing the NFL Players Association of telling running backs to fake their injuries to hold out. So now they're pointing fingers left and right. Of course, this is ongoing. I don't have an end game right now, but they are pointing the finger at the former executive director, DeMaurice Smith. I hope I said his name right. But they're doing all of this. And it's sad because you have people's reputation and all mixed up in there. And we're talking contracts. So that's why they're asking people to hold off. So that's where we are with that. People are pointing fingers. They're the blame game. Like you did it, you did this, So hopefully we'll have some type of resolution with that soon. But that's what's going on right now. They're just pointing fingers. There has been a grievance filed as well. We have, I want to say an arbitrator is reviewing this claim. So we'll find out what's going to happen next. All right.
This is good news.
Yeah.
I baseball. For baseball and other sports.
Yes.
Because for my generation, baseball was prominent, and then basketball started soaring. A lot of these great athletes, when the running back was it, they went to that. They're going to just go. It's going to spread itself out, and it's not just a race thing anymore. See, this happens 25 years ago, then I'd be interested in it. Now you just can't say there's no black quarterbacks. So when you start looking at the highest paid at the position are now African Americans. So you can't say that the quote, the system did it.
Yeah.
That's no longer valid. So I just say, go play baseball, basketball, or become a dentist or a lawyer or whatever else. But I'm not crying grapes for people to turning down $8, $9, $10 million to play a sport.
Indeed.
You're not going to get me emotionally hooked into this one.
There you go. All right, so let's move on. We're going to kind of switch over to college for a little bit. We talked about Deion earlier, and I'm glad, Doc, you said earlier that Deion don't play no funny business. Like he not in no drama or mess. So we saw this Colorado game. Okay, they took over the entire state, and then there was a really late hit. Okay, Henry Blackburn and Travis Hunter. We have a hit. We have a lacerated liver. Okay. Fans are angry, and they started sending death threats to Colorado State safety Henry Blackburn. And like I shared with my team, they got this gentleman's number, his mama's number, was reaching out in the whole nine. It's getting bad. You know, people felt that it was on purpose, you know, and that they had a bounty on him, things like that. So Deion has just come out and said, hey, look, I don't condemn this behavior. I don't I don't want to deal with all of this drama and all of that. I have forgiven him. The player that he hit has forgiven him. So you guys need to chill out. So hopefully this will die down. Hopefully nothing major has to happen in order to protect this particular player.
I hope not.
It's sad. It's a sad situation in general. Yeah, it was a late hit and someone got hurt. That's already sad. But then when you start attacking this man, you done reached out to his mama.
Oh yeah.
I don't like it. I don't like it at all. So I feel like that really needs to be addressed. And then maybe someone needs to pursue some charges against people who are threatening this young man's life, because it's football. Sometimes you get hurt in football. Sometimes you make mistakes in football.
Yeah, the problem is that when in our society and with First Amendment rights, and I'm not mad. I think anybody should have the right to bear. I think everybody should be qualified to purchase.
Yeah.
And I have a right as a citizen to know that you've not given someone a right to buy a firearm that has mental illness in their background.
Yeah.
That doesn't make me an ogre. That makes me concerned. And when you go through with some of the mass shootings that we've had, they have found this in background, and this has been prevalent far more than not. Again, we got to make up our mind how you want to live. You know, we got the red light, yellow light, and the green light. And we're supposed to all buy into that. We don't even do that.
Right.
All right. So we cannot agree. In order to coexist, we have got to agree on certain rules and boundaries. We all got to buy into it. I don't care how rich or who you are or what you got. No, to have a healthy society, got to be rules and boundaries. And if we can't get leaders to set it up, we got the wrong leadership.
I agree.
This is not negotiable. There's certain things should be ironclad. As parents, we put our kid on a school bus, we should not have to worry about the bus driver.
Right.
Or the bus will break down. Or that when they get to class, the room won't be frigid temperature.
Yeah.
There's certain things we got to come to grips with, man. All this energy we put into sports, this pales in comparison. The real deal is how we function in a society.
Correct.
That's got to be number one. If not, all these games will be blacked out.
Right.
And I'm gonna say this really quick, Ant Corner. Now, I'm gonna move on to my last and final statement. This particular gentleman is off the field now, okay? But it speaks to some of the things that goes on with players, their finances, and just making poor decisions.
Y'all balling today, boy. You getting all the key deals.
So Antonio Brown, let's talk about him really quickly. So he has been accused of mistreating arena football league players. He's been accused of different things over the years. We have seen craziness with him. Well, back in July, Antonio, who thought he was going to be a rapper or something like that, and he had someone that he had a business relationship with. He said he was going to sell this gentleman a watch. He said, all right, I'm going to sell you this watch for $160,000. But you could probably get, if you want to resell it, you can probably get $400,000 for this watch. That's what he told the man. Well, of course, this gentleman, I guess he wanted to flip the watch, or he was just curious, one of the two, took it to get appraised. The watch was fake.
Oh.
He decided he was going to sue Antonio because he knowingly sold him a fake watch. Mm-hmm. They went to court. It has been released as far as today. Antonio lost that case. So he has to pay back the $160,000 plus an additional $9,000. So it's $169,000 that Antonio now has to pay back. But the main question is, does Antonio have the money?
No.
Ooh. Good question.
I don't think Antonio has the money to give them to pay the bill.
Nope.
He may have the money. A lot of people have money but decide not to pay bills.
Right.
That wouldn't be the first time it's happened.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't clown on Brown anymore because I realized that I was part of the problem. When I thought he was just being a dude.
Yeah.
No, he has no control of what's going on.
Not at all.
He's being controlled. And I don't play when it comes to this.
Yeah.
He needs professional help and guidance.
I agree.
And he's been crying out for help. But like we do in our society, we use him for his skills.
Yep.
And then we throw him out in the public and let him wander and do all that on his own.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, how many more acts does he have to perform in public before we realize that ain't really him? That's somebody in him trying to ask for help. And so I just think that it's another example of a lack of leadership within our society, within our communities.
Yeah.
That we letting this guy stay out here on his own by himself, and he'll do something else.
Yeah.
And he'll do something else next. It'll be something else. And it's going to happen until we walking slowly behind him. And then everybody be crying.
Right.
See, that's the fakeness of our society that, so.
Yeah. And they didn't want to have nothing to do with him. They thought that he was just acting out. And so they said, okay, well, we're just going to stay away from him. We're not going to deal with him. But no, he's going to continue to do these things. So it's a sad situation. And of course, when you see people acting out like that, sometimes you just got to talk to them.
Right.
Yeah. And he's been doing that. But don't somebody professionally.
Yeah. Professional.
Talk to him. We're not qualified.
No.
We ain't qualified. He'd play us because he's good at it.
Yeah.
People have tried to help him.
Yeah.
They just didn't realize how sick he really was. Really is. He's talented.
Yeah.
He's talented, but yeah.
All right, say
all right. We're gonna move on to our last segment of the day. It's becoming a fan favorite. It's coming a fan favorite. And it's who's leaking oil. Who is leaking oil? You know what I'm saying? We're gonna talk about some people that are leaking oil early in the NFL. We're gonna talk about a few teams. First of all, the team I'm gonna start with at the top, the Chicago Bears. The team I picked to win in division because I
wait a minute. Said really?
Yes.
You picked the Bears.
Yes.
And you were serious. You wasn't joking.
I didn't understand it either, but he was
Minnesota not gonna win. They 0-2. The Packers, they got a first year quarterback. He's sometimey. Mm-hmm. Then you got Chicago, who should have they have the talent, but this is why they're leaking oil.
They Chicago.
They got the talent. Okay, they got some of the talent because we've been yelling for the last 2 years as football fans. Give the guy offensive linemen to help him be able to throw the ball. You gave him some wide receivers. Well, we can't really count Claypool because he don't really want to play every now and then. He don't want to block. He just want to catch the ball. He don't want to block. We saw that live on TV.
Mm-hmm.
At what point are we going to figure this out for this guy? You're wasting the guy's talent behind his offensive line. Running for his life. I think he got sacked like 6 times. So at some point, you're going to take off a run when you got to hike the ball, or you're going to throw picks. He did both.
Okay.
So I'm going to need Chicago, offensive coordinator, head coach. I'm going to need y'all to figure this out.
Mm-hmm.
This is week 2.
I mean, Mike Bird, I know any faithful Bear follower has felt this wrath. You're stuck, and we were stuck. I'm not talking trash like we're any better. We've been barely good enough to beat the Bears, and it took the last play of the game, so I'm not bragging. And we have them in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And it's the only thing that gives me confidence that if we could simply beat Buffalo, that we really could do something special, because I know the Bears are coming up. And as much as I'd like to talk kid the Bears, we're just like them. I mean, we're just one step ahead of the Bears. And until you can get your O-line, like I say, here's my top 10 in football. My 5 offensive linemen, my 4 defensive linemen, and the quarterback. Those are the top. That's my top 10. That's really all that I ever care about. That's my top 10. For those of you that may be a little slow, my 5 offensive linemen, my 4 defensive linemen, and the quarterback. That's my top 10.
Right.
Everything else, I can fill that in. But if my top 10 is not the right top 10, I'm going to end up around last place. Because that's football. Now, it's not glamorous. You can't play fantasy with them. You can't do none of this sexy stuff with them. But win. And if that top 10 is shaky, you're behind. We'll be playing fantasy, and you'll be doing all that other stuff because you damn sure won't be in the playoffs. That's it. That's all I can give you.
Okay, cool. So we gonna move on to the next one. I got 3. I only got 3 this week.
Oh, that's good.
Number 2.
You had a list last.
Number 2 is Joe Burrow.
Just Joe.
What in the Joe Burrow is going on in Cincinnati?
He's hurt.
22 of 41, a pick and 2 touchdowns. We know he didn't play in the preseason, but when is Joe Cool going to show up?
Joe Cool, we did it here with Logan Thomas, our tight end. We do it with, and everybody does it. Not everybody. Pete Carroll didn't do it. That's why a coach is going to always, for the most part, side with his player. The player is going to always tell you he can play. I'm ready, coach. I want to go. Player doesn't want to let his team down. He really thinks he can do it. The coach, especially if he's a former player, it's even worse because he's played through pain. He's played hurt. He knows it's almost a badge of courage. So he can't be in the process. It's got to be the GM or somebody, hopefully, that never played a day in their life.
Yeah.
So they're not caught up on that. And they don't get involved. I need somebody clear-minded that's thinking about you as an investment.
Exactly.
You're an investment, a long-term investment. I can't risk that. Psychologically, you're probably going to fail, and that's what happens. If you look at it's hard for it to work out because you're not healthy. Terry wasn't scary in week 1. You saw that fangs come out last week. He still ain't there. Wait till this week. That boy gonna be I can't wait, because now he's really back. Took him 2.5 weeks to do that. Logan Thomas, he played out of heart. He wanted to show it for the team. Dropped the first 3 or 4 passes that came to him. That ain't him. He wasn't ready. Should never have been on the field. Easy for me to sit over here with a beer in my hand. But the reality about football is that it's a relationship business. And the coach is going to take and build it for you. He's going to do it. So you got to remove him from that. That's all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Right. You're right. That's my point. If he wasn't ready week 1, which he didn't look like he was ready week 1 either.
No.
Because they lost at home to Cleveland. Cleveland came in there and he looked like he couldn't move.
Yeah.
You're putting him in a position he can't defend himself. Because we already know they still ain't fixed their offensive line, but that's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
But last but not least, the team that got hammered in week 1 and eked out a win in week 2, the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oof.
I'm gonna need Matt Canada to go back to the play calling academy. 75 and 76 on the right side got destroyed.
Yeah.
Destroyed. So what did you do? You moved him from the right side to the left side. Same dude. It didn't work. I'm gonna need you to adjust your play calling. They went 3 and out so many times in that game. If not for the defensive touchdowns, because they had 2, they would have lost that game.
Oh.
I haven't heard from Big Tony all day.
Say again?
Big Tony, Steeler fan, Big Tony, one of my K9 brothers. I ain't heard from him. I've heard Matt Canada. I was watching all the shows.
Just ask about the offensive line. He'll tell you.
Yeah, well, Steelers have they got away from their formula.
Yeah.
They got, so in my top 10, I mean, I don't care who you are. And I know when people start talking about their receivers, I just smile. Yeah. It wouldn't matter if you had the posse. If the guy can't get in the pocket, if you're out of the 7-step drop game, that has no chance.
Oh no.
So you in the slant, you in the hitch game, you're so limited because I know what you can do, because I know you ain't got time to do nothing. Based on my front and my package, my pressure package. You couldn't block air. We've been through it. We went through Philadelphia last year. The Giants. Thibodeau. He's a hell of a player. You see him against Dallas? I didn't. He was on a milk carton. Witness protection program. He play us? Hell, he got 5 sacks. If he don't play us, take us off the schedule. He ain't got nothing. He ain't bust a grape. First round draft pick talking trash. We made him think he was good. Yeah. He ain't got nothing on his highlight tape that don't have us on it. If he don't play us, he ain't got nothing going. I'm thinking, boy, Thibodeau, bad boy, Pac-12. I'm trying to give him some love. I'm watching the Cowboy game. I go, is he in the game? Man, that boy, they swallowed him, man, like he was like giving a whale a tic-tac. They ain't worried about that boy, man. That's us if we don't get out there and make it happen. I don't want to hear about what you did in college. What you doing now?
There you go.
All right. Well, I want to thank everyone. I especially want to thank Doc for joining us. He was usually going by now, but he stayed the whole segment. I want to thank Doc for giving us his time to join us. And Bulldog, you and Lady A, man. And you know what? This had a much easier flow without toothpicks. So maybe if I decide to come back, I'll come back if he's not there. If he goes, then I'll fill in for him. Then we'll do that. All right, man. I gotta go. I got something needs to be lit up. Let's see what we're gonna do today. Oh, okay. Well, I guess I can figure out a way to kind of make this a reality. And because even though this is no longer Monday, a victory,
it's
Monday, but it is tradition. So I will do that. God bless y'all, and I can't wait to hear y'all. All right, do what you do. All right.
Thank you for coming, sir. Thank you, Lady A. We'll see y'all later.
You got it. All right, A.
All right.